Okay, we're recording. So, guys, queuing in on some of the things we talked about last week, I thought we'd talk about portions today. Um, but before I get going with that, anybody want to share? Well, let me just ask you each, how you doing? Let's start with Wes and Pat. How you guys doing?
I guess pretty good. We go off the rails sometimes, but we get back on, so we're kind of
Yeah, we're maintaining.
maintaining.
That,
Yeah.
but that's what it's that's really what we're trying to do here, you
Right.
know? And hopefully when you go off the rails, it's not too far. And you say, wow, I'm glad we didn't go too far off the rails.
Like tonight we're going out with some friends. I already checked out the menu and I'm like,
There
okay,
you go.
only having one glass of Chianti and that's it. And the rest I'll drink water. And I'm already having a game plan.
That's awesome.
Hopefully
Hey,
I'll
let me just say this about that, about the alcohol, whatnot. I actually was at the Mariah Carey concert, which was great. Of course, the concert started at 7:30. She didn't come on until 8:45. No intro band. But anyway, it was kind of a long night. And afterwards, we were waiting for our driver to show up. And it was cold. We didn't want to wait outside. So the gals I'm with, um, go across the street and they're getting another cocktail. I'm like, oh my God, I can't have a cocktail at 10:30 at night. But where we were, they had this giant jar, clear glass jar with a spigot of fruit infused water. So there were these beautiful slices of red apple and green apple and orange. It was so beautiful. So I'm drinking this fruit infused water. So you know what I've done? I got out a really pretty glass pitcher. It's just, I just throw that out there, guys, as an alternative to club soda or whatnot. One, it's so pretty, and two, you feel so good about it. But that's good, Pat, because, well, let me just go into my prop now. Can you say it?
Yeah.
That is not a rosé.
What is it?
Apple juice.
And then, okay, I bought red food coloring to put into these glasses.
Oh, okay.
So now, this glass is probably as big as I like to drink out of. I used to have something even a little smaller. This is 6 ounces. Okay. Now, I'm like, do not spill these, King. Now, this puppy here is 8 ounces.
Yeah.
But now you even see these even bigger, wider bottomed goblets. So it'd be very easy to have an 8-ounce glass of wine. And then if you have two, now you're at 6. Yeah, well, you can do the math, right? So I just thought I'd give you that visual. Here's one more visual. This is what happens when you become so into your work. You steal. You take home. You know what this is? This is the little thing of salad dressing you might
Yeah.
get.
Or cheese or yeah. Or,
Right.
yeah,
So this is easily 3 tablespoons. 3 tablespoons didn't fill it. Right. So if if they're doing a ladle, in the kitchen of a salad dressing, like a ladle, this is probably 1 ladle, 3 tablespoons. So if it's a fully fatted salad dressing, it's a minimum of 70 calories.
Yeah.
So you could easily have, 210 calories of just the dressing. Forget about the nuts or the cranberries or the cheese or whatever else might be in there. So that's just a little bit advanced warning of where we're going. Maybe you guys can come up with some examples on your own. All right, let's shift over to Paul. Look, I almost drank my red water instead of my coffee. How are you doing, Paul? Oh, we can't hear you, Paul. There you go.
Here we go. I'm doing pretty good. I had a decent week this week. I had gained the week before, and I was doing good through Friday, and I was down. And then I went yesterday. I had Chinese food and some pizza.
Yeah.
Beer.
All right, Paul.
So that was
Let's
my
hear it for Paul.
good Friday.
That's my kind of diet.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well,
There was a company function, so they had Chinese food brought in. So
Yeah.
So you're up a little bit.
yeah, I was up let's see, I was up a half a pound. Not bad. I'll
Okay,
take
now
that.
those of you who know me, hearing that he had Chinese food and pizza, what am I gonna say?
Dilute, don't delete.
Well, kind of, but it's probably water.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Right,
definitely.
and Chinese is so salty, and I bet
Right.
you contain some fluid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Friday I was down,
Pizza sauce.
I was down a pound. So I actually put on, I figure about a pound and a half just from, water weight.
Yeah.
Right, so, and knowing that, I think is so helpful to, kind of hold, yeah, it's like, hey, water, salty. Because again, depending on what kind of Chinese food it was, if it was like the
Bad
breaded and
stuff.
fried and whatnot, you
all
could have
bad.
done, what was it, Paul?
It was all bad.
Oh, all bad.
Yeah, the
Fake
pizza
food,
was
yum.
homemade, but the Chinese food was like rice, chicken wings, chicken fingers, spare
Yeah.
ribs, all the bad stuff. It
Oh,
was,
wow.
it was a big, huge bash for the entire company. So I just went through with my plate and loaded up.
Wow, Paul's always been a leader in his company.
You know what, if you're gonna go in, just commit yourself and just do it.
I just had one, I had one plate. That was it.
All right.
Paul, so again, remember, you're probably your expenditure is probably somewhere around 2,500 calories. To gain a pound, you would have had to have 3,500 extra.
Yeah.
So
That's a lot.
we're going to all be happy to hear. Or if you want to even send me a weigh-in on Monday, you'll see that it's probably coming down.
Yeah, I could do that. But yeah, it'll be down.
Yeah, I know it'll be down. Are you still doing your, did you go back to eating out of your bag in the refrigerator?
I basically, yeah, I kind of, I only can take from one area for, if I have a dessert
That's good.
or a snack. But yeah,
Good.
but I, mostly what I did is I stayed away from the candy dish and work. That was helpful.
Oh, very good.
I just do go other around paths and I look the other way when I go by the candy dish.
Paul, that's what we say, dopamine, look away.
Yeah.
Look away. Yeah, I mean, it's the candy and those, insidious little sweet cookies can get you every time, 3 or 4 of them. All
Yeah.
right, that sounds great, Paul. Let's shift over to Miss Festive Faye. How you
Good.
doing, Faye?
I'm doing good. So we've had a very social week, but I held my own.
Good.
I knew every day my plan. So I don't know if it was really the healthiest, best way to handle how I'm doing these things, but if I know I'm going out and it was a party, a couple of them this week, celebration. So I watch what I intake all day. So like I had a protein shake for breakfast and I had it
Great.
I have it late, so it's like breakfast, lunch. So I really am not eating much during the day, just enough to sustain me. So
Yes.
it's not the best way, but it's what and then when I get there, I'm pretty good. Of course, I have my glass of wine. I haven't done any tricks that I can share, except just try to stay away from the table a little bit.
Yeah.
Where the food is, if it's in someone's home.
That's huge.
Yeah, and dilute. Last night we were at a thing where they had a buffet, so they had cioppino, and that was like the least amount of calories, and I didn't take any pasta with it, so it was just the fish part.
Nice.
Yeah, so I
Dish was all kinds of fish.
doing my best.
That sounds great. Great, Faye.
I'm
And
holding
even
the-
when you
I'm
broke
holding-
up a little there, Faye. One more time.
I'm holding my own on the scale.
And that's what we're doing here, guys. That's, we're really not supposed to be losing. We're just trying to not gain. And hopefully, as we go through these weeks, we realize, wow, kind of figuring out how to dial it back. You can still have fun. You just don't have fun. You don't go crazy, right? It's like I used to say to the kids, if you have people over and I never find out about it, I don't really see a problem here, right? But if I do. So here comes Ellen. Let me get her in. I think that's really what we're trying to do is find these strategies. And I also like, Faye, that what you did, it wasn't like you starved yourself, but what you had, was, a high volume of water. So you had a lot of volume in your belly and you had the protein, right? So that's better than saying I had an English muffin.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Really good. Well, here is Ellen. Ellen, we're putting everybody on the spot just briefly. And good morning, Ellen. Ellen is so close to retirement. I'm so excited for her. Ellen, just a few words or as many words as you want, but not to make you too on the spot. How you doing this week? Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm sick.
Oh,
So
you're sick?
yeah, yeah.
Well, that's not too good. Is it? So, from a weight standpoint, you're probably not going to parties or feeling like eating, I hope. No, that
uh,
sounds so negative. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
although I did a lot of working from home, I've just got a really bad cold on top of my coughing stuff. So
Yeah.
it's been pretty miserable. I did work yesterday, and my daughter is actually going to another campus. So they had a little going away party for her yesterday. And I just ate one piece of pizza and a little piece of cake, and that was that.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, again, that moderation,
Yeah.
moderation. Yeah, what I was saying before you came in is we're really not trying to lose this season, but the little tricks we're doing to not go too far off the rails are something hopefully that will stick with us going into the new year. And also the realization is, I still had some fun, but I didn't really, overdo it so that I feel crappy the next day. So, well, listen, I hope
Yeah.
you feel better. There is so much going around. By the way, there is a stomach bug going around. I don't know if you've heard anybody else who had it. So mine was not food poisoning. It was definitely a stomach bug. All right,
Yeah.
people. Well, what I thought I would
Just
do, I want to take you guys through this fun little, I call it fun. It's a quiz. I'm going to go to a slide share now, okay, gang? And I promise to get you in and out relatively quickly this morning. There we go. Portion distortion. Here's the main takeaway. Serving size does not equal portion size, right? So if you see something that says a serving of ice cream is 150 calories for a half a cup of vanilla,
Right.
but you're eating a cup and a half, all right? You got to go with the portion is what you bowl out, not what the serving says. Recently, there was a change in the food labeling guidelines where manufacturers had to make the portion, they had to make the serving size more realistic, right? So a lot of, the trick was, well, we'll put a small serving size and say it's only 140 calories, but nobody's eating 140 calories worth, So now most ice creams are not going to say a half a cup, they're going to say 2/3 of a cup, right? And this is one of the first things I do when I meet with folks for weight loss is I ask them to tell me what they're typically doing. And I'm looking for patterns of, the higher density foods, right? And then I go back and I kind of poke at it. Is it really I remember this one guy, he ended up doing great. He used to eat ice cream at the end of every night, coffee ice cream, I remember, a big bowl of it. And of course, you guys know me here in my top drawer, right? How many do you think of these? And he's like, oh, I don't know, three of these. It was a big old bowl. He was big. Hank was a big guy. He was shocked. He was shocked. He was eating over 600 calories worth of ice cream.
Wow.
Right? So this is where, you might think the caloric value, but you got to get clear on the portion. You don't have to worry about how much broccoli you're eating unless you're covering it with cream sauce, right? Or smothered in olive oil. You don't have to worry about your spinach. You can eat tomatoes and green beans until the cows come home, but there's certain things you really want to know, even if you just like pasta. If you're having pasta, put a cup, get out your measuring cup, put a cup of pasta in there, and then spill it out on your plate so you know what it looks like. And then you'll know 1 cup of pasta, 200 calories, that's legitimate. I had another gal, she would make herself a little dish, like a little mini ice cream sundae. I feel bad. I get like privy into people's habits, but hey, that's what I'm here for. But she would have as her little mini ice cream sundae a little bit of ice cream, a little bit of peanut butter, a little bit of chocolate sauce, and hey, a little bit of whipped cream. Surprisingly, the whipped cream was really not that bad, but the peanut butter and the chocolate sauce was really adding up. So what she's thinking of is that she only had a little bit of ice cream. So she might have had a 1/4 cup at, say 75 calories of ice cream, but then she was putting 200 calories of peanut butter, 100 calories of chocolate sauce. So her little treat was about a 500, right? So that's where, again, if you remember me talking about caloric density, it's the foods that are dense in calories that you really want to make sure you know the portion. What makes something dense in calories? It's high in fat, and or it has refined carbohydrates. What do we mean by refined carbohydrates? Everybody says, well, I'm not eating carbs. Well, that would include all fruits and vegetables. Not a problem. Refined carbohydrates are when we strip off the husk, the shell, and we take the water out of them, and now you can kind of chop them up and blow them away. So when people say, oh, well, I made a cake, but I made it with, I'm making this up, beet flour. It's like, well, beet flour probably, oh, Ellen, where did we lose her? Beet flour is pretty much the same calories as wheat flour. Now, do you know what I mean, guys? It's we've, like with the wheat, we've stripped off the husk. There's really not a whole lot of moisture in wheat, and then we grind it up. So there's not the volume of water to puff it up and add volume without calories. So anything that's why crackers, people are like, I'm not eating sugar. Well, anything made with flour, any kind of flour, it's going to be dense in calories. Pretzels, people are like, well, I eat pretzels, there's no fat. Like, well, yeah, you know what I say about pretzels, goldfish. Crush them up, add a little water.
Don't say that. I hate when
Make
you
a
say
paste
that.
and apply to your favorite body part. Because everybody's so down on sugar, but it's those, wheat thins and a 7-grain cracker probably has a little more nutrition in it, but it's not like eating your hummus on cherry tomatoes, right?
Ooh,
Or
yummy.
cucumber. So things that are low in density have a lot of water in them and very low in fat, right? So if you're going to have peanut butter, try not to have it with crackers, have it with an apple, right? Something that's going to, and the classic example, just because it's healthy doesn't mean it's low cal. Raisins, you know what I do with raisins? Well, I stick them on the end of a spoon that has a little peanut butter on it, but I'll take this out and say, how many grapes would fit in here? 5. How many raisins? I counted 80.
Oh,
80 raisins.
80 raisins will fit in that 1/4 cup. So dried fruit, why do you think hikers carry it? Because they can get, or bikers, for the longest time I was riding with dried apricots. Now if I see one, I think I'm gonna lose it because I ate so many of them. But it's a great way to get calories, especially carbohydrates, because that's what fruit is. It's a great way to carry a source of carbs to fuel your long distance hiking, right? But if you're sitting at your desk, raisins, you're going to be ending up eating a whole lot more grapes than you thought, right? Last example, it's what happens when you're 20 years in the business. You have a lot of examples. This lady was a Weight Watchers leader, and she was at risk of losing her job if she didn't lose weight. So we started working together, and she's food journaling for me, and I'm trying to add up what she's got. I'm like, I can't find it. I can't find the problem. Is there anything else you're eating that isn't showing up here? And she said, well, yeah, I'm eating, I think she was eating cherries. I'm eating cherries, but they're free points for Weight Watchers, right?
One cherry?
No,
No, she was eating a bag of cherries.
okay.
But
Whoa.
in the Weight Watchers world, there were foods that were considered free,
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
oh,
So she didn't even bother putting them in her food journal. I'm like,
Okay.
well, how many might we be eating? And she's like, like I buy a bag, about a pound, throughout the day I might eat, the pound. A pound of cherries is like 600 calories.
Pretty sweet, yeah.
Right. Same thing with grapes. Grapes are good, but if you eat a pound of them,
Yeah.
if you're snacking on grapes just because you want to keep your mouth busy and you end up eating 4 cups of grapes, man, that's 3 to 4 times what you would have spent if you just had a vanilla yogurt. But well, we're not going to eat the yogurt because it's got sugar, right? This is the craziness. So again, I'm not down on fruit. Fruit is great, but I'm just saying, if you're substituting fruit for a hand to mouth thing, you still can't eat a ton of it. You would probably blow up or throw up if you tried to eat 500 calories of watermelon, right?
Yeah.
It just has so much water in it. But I can't tell you all the time I hear, well, I'm not eating watermelon, it's high in sugar. It's like, watermelon's awesome. Drips all over your face, right? I mean, it's a great thing. Melon's great, it has so much volume. So the point of this is portions do matter. Cucumbers, as long as you're just eating them, soaked in vinegar, you could probably eat those until the cows come home. Why would you want to, right?
yeah,
All
wow.
right. So let's do this fun little quiz. Now, this quiz is old, and I think I have it somewhere else. Oh dear, hold on. I got to change my slide share. So hang on. Stop that one. New one. Okay. Share. Oh, those are the answers. We don't want you seeing.
Don't look,
Okay.
everyone, don't look.
All right. And this link is in the presentation, so you can have it if you want to play around with some friends. A bagel 20 years ago, 3 inches in diameter, about 140 calories. How many calories do you think are in today's bigger bagel? This would be like a Dunkin'
Twice
Donuts
that.
bagel.
Twice
What do you
that.
say?
No,
C,
probably
C,
C.
350, yeah.
How many are for 350? Okay, how many are for 250? Okay, nobody's for 150. You're living in a dream world. Yeah,
That's a dry bagel, right?
Yeah.
dry bagel. Most of them, truthfully, like Dunkin' Donuts, are going to be around 320.
320, dry.
And you're talking about a 3-inch bagel, but who really has a 3-inch
No,
bagel?
that was 20 years ago. It was a 3-inch bagel.
Now it's more like a 6 or 7
Yeah,
inch.
I mean,
bagel.
everything's been supersized.
Yeah, super size.
Have you seen the bagels at Life's the Bagel, Cobb Corner?
They weigh about
They
a pound.
must be like 700
They're
calories.
horrible, aren't they? They're just too
Yeah.
big. There isn't even a hole in it.
But guys,
That's how big they are. They're like, it's like
Yeah,
a hunk of.
that's got to be the line of the day. This bagel was so big, there wasn't even a hole in it.
Nothing. They don't even have holes in them anymore.
But guys, this is what is happening. I mean, sometimes I just shake my head when I hear commercials or I get a coupon in the mail. Get a double quarter pounder with bacon and cheese and special sauce, and then supersize your fries, right?
Right.
Or you get the 2 Domino's pizzas for the price of 1, and then you get a side of
Cheese
I don't know,
steak.
cinnamons,
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
It's cheap food. It's cheap food, and we're selling it to people as a dopamine hit. All right, let's keep going. A cheeseburger 20 years ago. How many calories do you think are in today's cheeseburger? Now, again, this is a little dicey. It would be really hard to say for sure.
Oh,
I don't know, maybe 590? Just a regular cheeseburger?
Right,
Not a quarter pounder.
right. So you're probably right there, Pat. Probably around 590. But remember when the quarter pounder came out, it was a big damn deal.
Yeah.
right? It's like, oh, we're gonna have a quarter pounder. Well, a quarter pounder is 4 ounces. Now, a lot of restaurants are 8 ounces for the burger alone.
Yeah.
And
Plus
you're not
all
just
that
getting,
salt.
yeah, I mean, you're gonna be, you're gonna have a day's worth of sodium in that thing. But we no longer do just the burger, we do the cheese, maybe we do the bacon. Now
French
you're getting
fries.
all these fancy sauces on it. You probably have at least 150, if not 200 calorie roll. So say it is even a 600 calorie burger, 200 on the roll, we're at 800, and then you throw the side of fries on it, right? You're 1,300. We're not even counting, right? But this is kind of just to show you how our environment, what's the word I'm looking for? Our life, not our lifestyle,
Our
but
culture. This is our
culture.
culture.
Thank you, Pat. The
Yeah.
culture says more, more, more. Have you seen the Dunkin' Donuts whoopie pie?
No.
No,
Oh.
Yes, there is such a thing. They have split it in half and they put some kind of creamy white filling in there.
Probably all synthetic.
Okay, probably. All right. You used to get a 6.5 ounce of soda. How many calories do you think are in today's portion? What do you think?
200?
250.
What's the answer here?
250.
Went up, hold on, 250.
Wow.
250. Because that would be in a 20 ounce soda, one of those big
60
boys.
calories,
Now, I'm
huh?
not reading you all the data here. If you worked in the garden for 35 minutes, you might burn the extra 165 calories. Like that would be some pretty good gardening work if you
Yeah,
ask me.
right.
The extra, and what we did with the bagel, you have to be raking leaves for about an hour to burn those extra calories. I keep coming back. That's my weight management strategy is I hire myself out for manual labor. All right, let's see what else we have here. 2.4 ounces of French fries had around 210 calories. How many do you think we have now?
In today's portion.
This is, I mean, these numbers are so close, it doesn't really matter. The
Yeah.
point is, it's over 500 calories for a serving of fries.
It's more than double.
And and whether it's a sweet potato fry or a plain fry, you're looking at least 500 calories worth of fries.
Looking at fried, yeah.
So
we
here's the
can
thing.
split things.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. You split the burger and the fries. You get a really good burger, but you're splitting it. You split the fries, and then you get a nice salad with dressing on the side, right? It's the whole dilute, don't delete.
Right.
Because if you ate that whole big burger and all those fries, they probably taste so good, you're going to keep going because that's like dopamine you've never seen in a while. If you really want it, split it and dilute it, but just don't think that French fries are 250 calories.
So Nancy, when we see on a menu, it'll say so many calories for an item. Are those pretty accurate?
Again, it depends on who's ever in the kitchen, right? Are they really measuring, say you get some kind of something with a sauce on it, you'd like to think that they're following instructions and that the recipe calls for X amount of oil, right? But who knows if they're making it up for you? The worst case is when you get something like a side order of sauteed spinach. Look out, baby. He or she gets that scoop and throws some oil down. You could be having 50 calories of spinach and 150 calories of oil. Not that it's going to kill you, but you didn't order some hot oil topped with a little spinach.
Sauce on the side.
Yeah.
So when you're eating out, that's why, the less sauce, the better. At one point, my then husband was kicking me under the table when we were ordering spinach. We were ordering some for the table, a couple of side orders. And I said, hey, can at least one of them be very low oil and salt? All right. And he's kicking me. I'm like, what's wrong with you? This is why we didn't work. He's like, it's the chef's prerogative. I'm like, well, screw that. I'm the one that's paying for it. Because I've
Exactly.
had spinach, which is all oil and salt, right? So
I
be
love spinach.
careful with that and do not hesitate to say, and if you're a little bashful, say dietary restrictions. I need to go easy on the salt and the oil, whatever. But I remember once getting an order of roasted vegetables at Bertucci's. This thing came in a little baking dish swimming in oil,
Yeah.
swimming in oil, right? So just be careful that, going back to your question, Wes, their guidelines, you got to be careful, but if you order correctly, you should be okay. The grilled, the broiled, the baked.
And put the sauce on the side
Yeah, if you can. I think,
and the sour cream.
oh yeah, yeah. So you can slowly eat it on the side as opposed to,
Right.
right. All right, guys, a portion of spaghetti and meatballs used to be this. Now, again, where we're going, who knows? I think what they're saying is these are bigger portions of pasta and meatballs. How many do you think are in today's order?
Spaghetti and meatballs, gotta be 800.
If not
All right, well,
more.
what they're saying here,
The
they're
meatball,
saying,
A
saying-
1,020.
yeah, they say 1,025. That would be based on 2 cups of pasta and 3 large meatballs.
that's a lot of meatballs.
It would be, but now remember, 4 ounces, 4 ounces of ground beef, 20% fat, which I'm sure is what they're using. 4 ounces is 310, right? So say they're 2-ounce meatballs, that would be around 475 for the meatballs alone. And then 2 cups of pasta would be 400. So,
And then the cheese.
and the cheese, yeah, because meatballs have stuff. But again, so this is how I get meatballs. I think Faye's maybe even seen this happen. If I go to Amelia's, I might get a salad, dressing on the side, and then a side of meatballs. By
I've
the
done
way,
that.
Amelia's has some really good meatballs,
I've done that. Yeah, that's
right?
good.
Because I really like the sauce. And then I might ask for a little bread to soak up some of that sauce. All
You
right.
gotta have that.
All right. A cup of coffee, blah, blah, blah. What's in today's mocha coffee? You guys are probably not doing this, but
No.
What's a black coffee? Just black.
nothing,
Just
really
one.
nothing. And it might even speed up your metabolism a little bit. But what it does to your metabolism probably pales in comparison to all that caffeine in your system. You start running around burning more calories, right? So I'll keep going here. The coffee now, they're saying if it's cream and syrup and whatnot, for 16 ounces could be 350 calories. So if, say you get on like a Starbucks website, Google some of their lattes, you'll see how fast that adds up.
Ridiculous.
So if you had an extra 300 calories and you were a 130-pound person, wouldn't that be nice? You'd have to walk almost an hour and a half to burn off that coffee. And this kind of gets back to, what Paul used to joke about is get on a machine, a workout machine, and plug in how many calories you want to burn and don't get off until you burned it, right? All right. Now, 2 slices of pepperoni pizza used to be 500. Now it could be closer to 800. All right. So if you're going to have pizza, keep the fatty meat off of it. Go with the extra vegetables. Even if you want, right, like a Papagino large slice of cheese is around 250. Not so bad. So you have 2 pieces of pizza, then you get the salad with the chicken and a light dressing, and you're fine. Oh, this is one that gets a lot of people. The Caesar salad, right?
The dressing is the killer.
The dressing is the killer. The dressing is the killer. And then, of course, we're putting the cheese and the croutons on it. And then if you get a chicken Caesar wrap, right? Hang on, guys. I got to shut my door 1 second. Hi, guys. I'm shutting my door just so I don't make noise for you. If you get a chicken Caesar salad wrap and it's one of those big old wraps, you can easily have over 200 calories worth of wrap, right? So, stay away from the wraps. Get a salad, get a side of pita. The other thing, the tuna wrap, if that tuna is coming with mayonnaise, it is not your friend. The highest calorie sub at D'Angelo's is the tuna sub.
Wow.
Full of mayo.
Because of the
highest
mayo. Right. People say, oh, well, it wasn't that, didn't have that much mayo. It's like, probably does.
Yeah.
Popcorn. If you're eating unbuttered popcorn, go for it.
Unbuttered.
It's got some fiber in it. It's that, it'll keep you busy. You eat a big old thing of unbuttered popcorn. I don't know about you. You're going to regret that because it's just like, what between what's stuck in your teeth and you weren't really satisfied, but your stomach feels like it's going to blow up. But if you get on like MyFitnessPal or something and you Google, like a cinema popcorn that's buttered, that thing is huge because they just take that fat, that yellow colored whatever it is, and your guys are like looking at it, oh, it's going to be some great popcorn. But it's not your friend. All right, so guys, I'm going to send you that. Or it's in the presentation, okay? Is there anything that you have found in, because I've worked with all of you, anything that you have found where you were surprised at, wow, I was eating this and I didn't realize how many calories? Anybody have anything like that?
You know
It
what I would
depends
like to-
always.
Well, let's do
sorry.
Wes and Pat first.
Not so much that, but you know what I'm beginning to become more concerned about is sodium in food as opposed
Yes.
to calories, especially as we're getting older. Because, well, cheese has sodium in it, high blood pressure, that's a huge
Yes.
factor. So what is the recommended, I guess I can find this if I go.
Oh, no,
on
I can tell you this, Pat, and maybe I'll even send an attachment. And you are so absolutely right. I've been amazed over the course of my career here, especially in the last 10 years or so. When you start, when we plug in what people might be eating into MyFitnessPal, I like to do that. I create the shell. Here's what, based on what you are, some guidelines for where you should be. We're all over 50 here. Once you're over 50, or if you have high blood pressure, or if you're an Afro-American, your guideline for sodium is 1,500 milligrams.
Okay.
Per day.
Now, you get on MyFitnessPal and you look up not your average Joe's cheeseburger. You're done, right? Paul, hate to say it, he probably had like 3 times his daily requirement. Yeah, always a leader, right? And that's what I find so fascinating is there's something about that sodium as we age, we realize, we should be looking at it. So that's it, Pat, 1,500 milligrams. Now, here's another thing I want you to keep in mind. Fiber. When I plug in what people might typically be eating, my average number of grams of fiber that I see is somewhere around 7 to 11 grams of fiber. Now, the guideline for fiber says 14 grams per 1,000 calories. So if you're on a 1,500 calorie weight loss plan, what does that say? 21 grams of fiber. Now, I had a lady way back when, she was so excited. She came running in with like a Weight Watchers brownie. I mean, now they just slap the food label of the topic du jour and say, it was a fiber fortified brownie. She said, look, I can get 11 grams in this fiber fortified brownie. I'm like, not the point, right? I actually, when fiber was the buzzword, I actually found a fiber fortified Pop-Tart.
Wow. Sounds
Right.
delicious.
So fiber unto itself can help, reduce cholesterol, kind of collects the triglycerides out of your bloodstream. It can add volume to your stools and help with regularity. So, fiber unto itself does have some value, but I'm looking for naturally occurring fiber because that indicates healthy carbohydrates.
Like an apple?
Like an apple. Here's a guideline that says if it has skin or a seed, right? So, blueberries, apple, strawberries. Some people can't do a lot of that based on dietary issues or digestive issues. But, so that same lady who had the fiber fortified, say that 5 times fast, fiber fortified brownie. I said, look, this week, try to do it, and don't do like 11 grams in bran flakes. I mean, bran flakes are loaded with fiber. Just try to add a lot of fruits and vegetables to your, or whole grains, right? Brown rice, stuff like that. Try to get it naturally. Try to get up to 20 grams. She came back the next week as excited as she was about the brownie, saying, oh my God, I felt so full. I ate so well, simply trying to hit that guideline. So that might be a fun thing for you if you guys are still on MyFitnessPal. You're going to be eating a lot of vegetables, carrots, broccoli, tomatoes, brown rice, oatmeal, stuff like that. So again, and I'll send you, I call it Nutrition 101. I keep looking over here because that's where all my most important information is. Good question. I lost track of where we were. Oh, does anybody else have any insight to when they said, oh my God, they looked at the calories and were blown away? Anybody? Oh, I'm going to jump in if you guys don't.
No, I think we try to look. I mean,
Yeah, but sometimes it's hard, Pat. Like this other lady was eating a big, actually she would have 2 big baked potatoes. Her nickname was Spuds.
really?
2, but she's like, yeah, but I don't put anything in them. So, and then I since did the same exercise with another client. We went and we measured the size of the potato she was eating, and it was easily an 8-ounce potato, right? And they're around 25 calories an ounce. So 2 of them, she was eating, over 400 calories worth of potato, which is, again, not that big of a problem, but there wasn't much protein in that thing. And it wasn't like she was eating, the same amount of broccoli. So so I do have a handout here that tries to give you an idea. A 5-ounce potato is about the size of a baseball. And that would be about 150 calories. Okay, so just know that, right? Well, next time you're in the grocery store, we should do like a trip to the grocery store, measure out some potatoes, look at some food
Here's our
labels.
prop.
Here's our potato, but we split it.
Okay,
We never have our own potato. I bake it and I split it down the
so
middle.
that's good. Now, if you were to measure that, like, or if you're at a steakhouse, that's what you're gonna get,
Yeah,
right? I'm gonna
That's a
guess,
lot of
Pat, I'm gonna guess that's about a 10-ounce potato.
Yeah.
So when you split it, you're where you should be.
yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, all right, hang on. I'm going back to my slideshow. So you will get that little quiz. You have the link to the quiz real
Okay.
quick. Here are just some things you can reference to give you some idea of what's what. I like this one. 1.5 ounces of cheese would be about 4 dice.
4 what?
Stacked up. 4 little dice,
Okay.
right? Because cheese is a hard one to measure. 3 ounces of, this would probably be cooked, 3 ounces of cooked protein is about the size of a deck of cards.
Right, yeah.
Now remember, when you go out and you order a big steak, the petite steak is usually 8 ounces.
Yeah.
The big boy can be 16. Oh my God, I got such a kick. One year, now remember, we go through cycles. This was when like the high fat diet, I think it was before keto was around, but it was more like, what was the other one that was high fat? Atkins, yeah. one of the restaurants was advertising an Atkins friendly 16-ounce prime rib. Crazy. Okay, so you can look through that. Here's another one you can look through. I know it's hard to see on the slides. But you can kind of, here's about, what does that say, 1 ounce or so, about the size of a golf ball. But you can look that over on your own, guys. Another little one.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
great.
3 ounces of meat, about like the palm of your hand. A teaspoon would be the tip of your thumb,
Yeah,
right? So think about that when it comes to peanut butter. Nuts, oh my God, they're brutal. Just,
My favorite.
yeah, really watch out for nuts. If you look at the serving size of nuts, it's probably
quarter of a cup.
A
16.
thimble?
A
Now,
thimble?
hold on.
The thimble.
This little thing here, of course, anything that's an example of be careful is empty because I ate it when I was hungry. But this little thing that you can pick up for 99 cents, the
Yeah.
impulse buy at the grocery
Impulse
store.
buy.
Hold on. Okay. If you were to squeeze the air out of it, there were probably about that many peanuts.
Okay.
Anybody want to guess how many calories were in this little thing?
210?
200?
210?
Good guess, 240.
Wow.
Right. So, and at least this was honest. It said that, the serving size was 1. My favorite, and I don't have that, it was so long ago. This woman brought in a thing, a packet. The package was probably like this big, cellophane package. She said, look at this. I found this. What do you think about this as a snack food? I'm like, uh-oh. It was like a trail mix kind of thing. She says it's only 140 calories.
Per
And I said,
teaspoon.
well, how much did you eat? She said, well, I ate the whole thing. 5 servings
Okay.
per package. Right. So that's why you got to be careful. So again, in summary, guys, serving size does not equal portion size. Calories per serving is not the same as calories per portion. You determine the portion, know what you're doing. And here's one I always like to end on a little bit of humor. This guy's saying to his partner, I limit myself to 1 glass of wine daily. Or here, I got one. My sister, who she says to say hi to all of you today, by the way. She was saying she and her husband were going over to their daughters for dinner. It's just going to be the 3 of them. And Julianne was going to do the wine. And Susan said, well, if you only have 1 bottle, you might want to get another if Derek is coming too. So this morning she says, yeah, well, we ended up only drinking 1 bottle of wine. And I said, well, were you drinking bourbon? It was so funny. They had 1 bottle of wine, but then they had some other alcohol with it. I had another one here. I took it out. It was a picture of a guy with this giant piece of pizza on his plate, and it says, my trainer said I could have 1 piece of pizza. Giant thing. All right, guys, that's all I had prepared for today. I will send you the slides that have those, examples of portion. They'll have the quiz. I will attach the Nutrition 101 handout. Anything else you guys want to cover today, or anything you might want me to cover next week?
I don't know.
All right.
Good work.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, we'll just keep going. You guys are doing awesome. Thank you for sticking with this. Remember, this is all about accountability. Keep your eyes on the prize. Stay pumped. Share your thoughts with each other, and you just become more. I won't say more aware. Just get more wise. Get less of is this good or bad, and more. What's the best way to do this?
Yeah.
Right? If you really want something, what's the best way to do it? Like Faye, big shake in the morning, right? Get ready. Paul, I went bonkers last night. I know most of it's water weight, but I'm probably going to look at Paul. I'm putting words in your mouth. Paul's going to rein it in a little today. Paul's like, oh no. But keep up the good work, guys, all right? And no, I'm always available if you have a question or something you want to discuss privately. Deal?
Okay, thank
Thanks,
you.
Nancy.
All right, guys, have a
Take care.
great rest of your day.
All right,
Great
you
week
too.
to come. All
Bye.
right, we'll see you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.